Hey guys, welcome back and welcome if you're new. Today I have my husband with me. He's been on here before, but not very often. But his name's Josiah.
Hello.
This is our newest addition to the family. This is Jonathan. He was born well, not exactly 2 months, but 2 months ago. So I can't believe it, but he's 2 months old. So, and we are on filming this video to talk about his birth and all that happened. So I'm excited to get in the story with you. I have been trying to film this for a while, but it's kind of been nice to have 2 months of just not worrying about YouTube or filming, just to kind of settle in with our new baby. But it's been good, and now I'm ready to sit down and talk about his birth. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Alright, so 2 months ago we had a baby. I had a video that went up right before this one, and it was all about just kind of introducing you guys to him, what his gender was, because he had been a surprise. He'd been our first one, surprise-wise. The other two we found out with ultrasounds what they were, and so it was pretty cool to just have that surprise. So very awesome. Anyway, but his full name is Jonathan Clarke Van. It's a name that means a lot to both of us. He has a friend that's named John, and then my dad was named John, and so we really like the name. His name means God has given. Clarke means clerk, and so it's kind of a cool name. God has given us that baby, which is pretty awesome. So, all right, so as you all know, you've followed my journey through pregnancy. I've been posting regular videos all about how his pregnancy went, and I was 39 weeks when I had him, which was kind of crazy. All of our kids have been after my due date, which is great. It was nice to have an early baby this time around. He was born June 25th, 2022. He was 7 pounds 12 ounces, and he was just the perfect little angel. He still is. He sleeps well, and it's pretty awesome. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into his birth story here. I did want to mention, if you're interested in watching my other 2 birth videos, I will link them in the description below, and I'll link them up here in the card section. You can check those out. They're definitely very different from his birth. He was only 4.5 hours, and so it was really, really nice, because as most of you know you've already seen or heard my birth stories, my previous birth stories, they were both very intense and long, so very thankful to have short births. But anyway, so I'm gonna kind of start it out with Thursday, the 23rd of June. We went to see my midwife. It was the we didn't know necessarily, but it was our last prenatal appointment before he was born. And yeah, Thursday, June 23rd, and it was just a regular checkup. I did want my midwife to check me and kind of see how far along I've progressed. I was 39 weeks and a couple days, well, I think 39 days and 39 weeks and like a couple days when we saw her. And she said that I looked really good, like I could have the baby any day, is what I remember. And Josiah went with me, so it was kind of a nice like last checkup, like perfect prenatal to close it out with. And so yeah, she said that I was 3 centimeters dilated and very soft. So in other words, baby could come any day now. So after the prenatal appointment, which was on that Thursday, Friday comes around, and I have some contractions in the morning, but nothing too crazy. And my husband had asked me, you know, if I had anything. I was like, eh, not really. Kind of slowed down. And I had prodromal labor, probably for the last, I don't know, at 37 weeks I had one, and then one night of one, and then 38 weeks I had some, and then, sorry, he's being so cute. And yeah, so I had some prodromal labor here and there. And then Friday night is when things start to kick up. And I'd say I started tracking them and trying to rest. I took a nap because, you know, that's one thing I didn't want to make the mistake of. I had been exhausted with my other 2 births, and so I was trying to take a nap. And so I took naps in certain positions that help bring the baby down, and so that was nice. And so yeah, anyway, so your contractions start picking up towards the evening, and we really should have gone to bed earlier because we stayed up all that night. But Josiah was up late playing a game and having some fun with a friend, and I was trying to do some exercises before I went to bed. So I went to my room and did some of those, and then you came in and I was just finishing up, and so we both went to bed. Also, I had started showing signs of just labor was about to come, and so I went to bed. We both were trying to get some rest. So we went to sleep. It was probably around midnight, and I did start having contractions where they were closer together. And so that night I couldn't sleep. Josiah fell asleep, and so which was probably not great because by the time I woke him up, he was already exhausted, and it just made it worse. If I'm right, because you didn't feel super great when you woke up. Yeah, so oh well. Lesson learned. So contractions started to pick up. They were getting close to like 5 minutes apart, and I got up around 1. I just tried to sleep, and it was like an hour of just tossing and turning, and so I got up and started feeling the contraction intensify, where I had to literally like just stop what I was doing and slow down and breathe. So I went into the living room to try to kind of do this by myself to really figure out if this was really labor. And the one thing I wanted to do this time around was really labor at home as much as I could, so that if we did have a long labor, my midwife and my mom weren't going to be there for forever. And the friend, we have a friend that's a doula. We had asked her if she wanted to take pictures of the birth, and she did. So we were having her come, my mom come, and my midwife. So we had a couple people to call and make sure. So I was really trying to make sure this was it. And so once I had figured out that this was it and it wasn't stopping, I texted my midwife and kind of just gave her the rundown of how I was feeling. She said, okay, it looks like this is it. And then I had also been in contact with my mom. And so all this while he's sleeping, because I'm trying like a good wife to let him sleep. And I probably should just woken him up, but it's okay. I had a good heart about it. And so I tried to get him to sleep, or let him sleep. And so I'm just contracting by myself, trying to rest in between them. And I tell my midwife that I think this is it. They're getting closer together, and I think she should go. So she is exactly, I don't know, 45 minutes from us. So she starts getting her stuff in, ready to head out the door. My mom had already started getting ready at her house to come, and then I woke Josiah up. I told him I had called my mom, and I told Ashley to come. And he said, okay. And he started getting up. I started getting on some more comfy clothes to labor in. Alright, my baby had to eat, so. But yeah, so I try to get into something a little more comfortable while he's waking up. And it's probably like 2 o'clock, I think I woke you up around. Okay. And so by now I'm already like excited, tired, like I know I'm gonna have the baby here in a matter of hours, and so that's exciting, but I'm tired. And he wakes up and I'm getting dressed. So really what all ends up happening after that is I go into the living room and kind of labor on my big exercise ball. And that started, and I'm just really trying to kind of cope with them. And then I kind of had him get stuff ready. You went and called our friend who was going to come and take pictures. She's a doula, so he went and called her, and so she was on her way. And my mom got there like, I don't know, a couple minutes after that. And so she was helping Josiah get all the, and yeah, so my mom helped with that, and then he was getting the birth pool all set up while my mom went and changed the bed sheets and made sure all that was ready. All the time I'm trying to cope with my contractions, and they're getting stronger, which is nice, because I'm like, finally, yay, this baby's coming out. And so everybody gets there probably around 3 o'clock, I'm guessing, like maybe almost 3, if not 3. And by that time, I want to say I'm almost to transition. That's where it starts to get really hard. And so what we do essentially is I just sit there for probably like an hour of just laboring. And Ashley gets her stuff out, which is our midwife. And she is just checking me. She has the, not actually checking me, but like, she's got the Doppler and she's checking the heartbeat. And so she's doing that. And then you're rubbing my back a lot. We're doing a lot of rubbing my back, putting Deep Blue on, which is a great like muscle relaxer, essential oil thing. And so he's rubbing that on, and the pool is filling up, and they're trying to also put, was it, you guys are boiling water on the stove too, right? Yeah, so we're trying to get the water warm. And so I hop in that after, I want to say like half an hour of her being there. I get in, and things kind of slow down. And that's probably right around 3:30. Or maybe, something around there anyway. It was probably close to 4 o'clock. And I sit in there for, I want to say another 20, 25 minutes to an hour, half an hour. And everything just kind of slows down to where contractions are still close together, but every few minutes. And it gets to the point where I want to start pushing. But nothing really happens. And so Ashley wants me to get up again. Like with her birth, I had to do the same thing, where I was in the water for a long period of time and things kind of started to slow down, and I had a cervical lip. And so I got out, and then Kyla was born after we got out, like 5 minutes later. And so with him, it kind of had the same effect, where I stood up, went to the bathroom because she was like, well, maybe your bladder's full, so empty it. And I went there, and I tried, couldn't, so we walked back, and on the way back, I leaned on him and tried to push. And so that's when I felt the most pushy. Like I was ready to be done and felt like his head was coming down. So we come to the birth pool section where the birth pool is, and you guys had made a bed for me to lay on, kind of on the floor. And so as much as I really wanted to have a water birth, it wasn't going to happen again this time, which is fine. And so I was slightly disappointed, but slightly like, I don't care at this point, because I knew that this baby was coming like any minute now. And before I tell you the last bit of the story, is the one thing I struggled with the most with this baby and with this labor was the mental part. It wasn't so much the pain as much as me not wanting to have that pain. So like, once I was in the moment, I could control it. But once I could feel contraction come on, I felt like I wanted to retreat and go away and go back to being pregnant again, which is silly, but that's what I felt like, and that was a big struggle. Anyway, so that was what I was struggling with while I was laboring. And then once we got down to the floor, I was on my hands and knees. Josiah had my one arm, and my mom, I had my other arm in the birth pool. And so I was on my hands and knees, and Ashley is behind me and my mom's in front, and our friend is taking pictures. And so I'm just pushing, and I would say I had one long push, and then with one contraction, and then another contraction started to come, and out he came. He came in literally like a contraction and a half within 2 minutes of us putting me down there. And he just came right out, and Ashley's behind me trying to catch him, and she can't because she's behind me. And so she kind of just like says to my mom, catch him. And because my hands are both, Josiah is holding me, the pool, I'm holding on the pool, so no one can catch him. So my mom is the only one who can catch him, which was kind of fun. She thought that was pretty cool. And he just comes out and like, here's his head, and then half a contraction later, or even less, his whole other body comes sliding out, and mom kind of catches him on his way down on the ground. And so she catches him, and then I lean back and hold him on my chest, and I just knew as soon as I grabbed him that it was a boy, and which was kind of cool. And I just I'm excited. I was like, I'm done. I don't have to do this anymore. And so we're all really excited. He's doing great. He takes a minute to cry, I think. Or was he really? I don't remember. I just know that I wasn't really worried, because he seemed to cry right away, but it wasn't like, I don't know. Anyway, that part kind of escapes me. But I do know that he started crying, and Ashley just kind of wiped his head off a little bit, and then I just stood there and kind of took it all in for a minute, and Josiah and I both were kind of like, let's just take a minute. And we looked at him, and we're just very excited and thankful that it was done, especially you. Josiah, he is my main support as far as like mental support when I'm in labor, which is nice. And so there's a lot of stress on him, but that's great, by the way. And so that was really nice. We both were kind of just ready to breathe and like it's done. So I lay down, and all of his vitals are doing great. My vitals are doing great. The placenta comes a couple minutes later, and everything really does great. I'm laying there for a while, and I'm just chattery. I talk a lot after having a baby. Josiah kind of is just quiet and takes it all in. And but it was pretty cool. And after that, I kind of just went and took a shower, and he held the baby after we cut the cord. We usually cut the cord around like 15 minutes afterwards so that it stops pulsating, so that he gets all of his blood back to him and it's not left in the cord. And so we did that, and Josiah held him skin to skin, and then I went and took a shower, got dressed, and we did his newborn checkup. He did great. And that was it. I mean, it was a very fast labor. I started at midnight, and it ended at
like 4:46 or 4:49 or something.
Something like that. I'll definitely put the time frame in the description, but that was 4.5 hours of labor. And I just, another different thing that happened with this labor, I was able to pray through most of it, which was nice, and really, do some prayer, have some prayer time where I wasn't like not there, like mentally. Sometimes you're in labor land where you're in so much pain that you don't really know what's going around. I was actually able to kind of be very much more present, I felt like, and really pray and ask the Lord to help me through this, and He did. And obviously, this was the best labor experience I've had yet. And so 4.5 hours labor later, he was here. He checked out great, and so that's our birth story. He's doing great now. He's a little chubber. I don't know how much he's gained now. I really should weigh him, but that'll be in his 2-month update. And so I would highly recommend that you try home birthing out. It's pretty amazing, and we can tell you from experience that the hospital is way more stressful as far as just there's a lot more to deal with, and it's nice to be at home where you're more relaxed and you're in your own environment. So anyway, do you have anything to give other dads or anything?
No. But you had lots of rest beforehand.
That's fun. Not fun. Anyway.
Be an encouragement throughout the delivery. Do a lot of praying, make sure everything goes well. Kind of about it.
It's important. I would definitely, make sure your husband is comfortable with some stuff too. I mean, it's not all about you. That's what I would say. it's about your family, you know, and your relationship with your husband too. Make sure you're including him is what I'm trying to say in the decisions, because the birth, yes, you have to go through it, but he has to go through it with you. And so just make sure that he understands where you're at, and you understand where he's at, and really talk about things beforehand, because that's going to be important. Some guys are maybe uncomfortable with birth, and that's something to talk about. Sometimes they're not, and sometimes you have some things that you need to talk to your husband about too, about labor, that maybe he's not comfortable with, or maybe whatever. Just talk to your husband. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're just glad that it's over, and until next time. And we do plan on having more kids. With this baby, I wasn't sure I wanted more. It was kind of funny. And then it always disappears. I always want more later, which is good. I'm glad that God kind of instills that in us, that, you know, he lets us forget some of that pain and craziness. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. We would like to go ahead and start, or I would like to do a Q&A for the next video or something like that. But let me know what videos you'd like us to make, what you'd like to see more of. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in my next video.